Good morning. Welcome to the Holston Valley Unitarian Universalist Virtual Church. My name is Wayne Johnson, and I'm glad we can get together even though we cannot be together. Today our minister, the Reverend Jeff Briere, brings us a new understanding of Easter. To light our chalice, I have some words adapted from the writings of Marjorie Lemming. Remembering that the universe is so much larger than our ability to comprehend. Let us stop trying to reduce the incomprehensible to our own petty expectations, so that wonder, that sense of what is sacred, can open up our minds and light up our lives, showing us the way to peace. We all have different reasons for gathering here each week. But we have this much in common. We work together as a church to transform ourselves, our community, and our world by sharing love, pursuing justice, and seeking wonder. For a prelude today, Charlie Mattioli brings us an iconic melody from the American Songbook, "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning."
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's reaching clear up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a wonderful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the cattle are standing like statues. All the cattle are standing like statues. They don't turn their head when they see me ride by, but a little brown maverick is a winking her eye. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a wonderful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the sounds of the earth are like music. All the sounds of the earth are like music. The breeze is so busy, it don't miss a tree. And an old weeping willow is laughing at me. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a wonderful feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, what a beautiful day.
We will sing Loving Kindness next. Please light a candle to dispel the darkness, to honor someone or some event, or to bring light to a memory.
Kindness. My name is Jeff Briere, and I am the minister of this virtual church. I hope you are safe and well, and I also hope that you can get vaccinated very soon. But even if you do get vaccinated, please continue to follow common sense and CDC guidelines like wear a mask, keep your distance from other people, and all that sort of stuff. There are a couple of Christian holidays that have spilled over the sacred walls of the church and into the secular world. One is Christmas and the other is Easter. Thus, in December, we have Divinity Made Incarnate competing with Santa Claus, and Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. At Easter time, we have Jesus Rising from the Dead competing with the Easter Bunny, chocolate candy, and painted eggs. This makes life tough for Unitarian Universalist ministers, because we are charged with finding meaning in these holidays for a diverse group of believers, non-believers, agnostics, atheists, and a big bunch of people that don't have any label at all. And finding meaning in Easter for all those people is like finding your way through a maze. There are a lot of blind alleys and dead ends. But I think Easter can be celebrated by everybody as a second chance. I think I may not have told you about my second chance. I had a second chance. The first time I went before the Ministerial Fellowshipping Committee for the Unitarian Universalist Association, I was not awarded a fellowship. I was given a rating of 3, which means that they thought they might have a minister in front of them, but they couldn't see enough evidence of it. They could have given me a 4 or a 5 and told me to go find something else to do. Anyway, I sat on the bench for a year, so to speak, before I was allowed to play again. I saw a counselor and I took a hard look at myself and what I wanted to do. I came back a year later, and this time I was awarded fellowship with the highest score possible. There aren't many people in this life who get a second chance, and I'm glad to be one of them. It wasn't Easter gave me this chance, but for some people, Easter makes possible a new life unavailable to them previously. This morning, I want to present a few different understandings of Easter and give you a new one thanks to a friend of mine. My colleague David Brown puts it this way: Easter marks the beginning of a new game. Easter is a game changer. Now, when he said that to me, it reminded me of the final scene in Places in the Heart, a movie with Sally Field, Ed Harris, John Malkovich, and Danny Glover. I wonder if you've ever seen it. Places in the Heart. Like any dramatic movie, there are bad guys and good guys who alternately make life miserable or wonderful for Sally Field. At the end of the movie, though, she has overcome adversity and triumphs over cynicism, exclusivity, and racism. But the final scene points to a transcendent life, a new game, if you will. The final scene is in a church where the congregation is receiving communion. But not only the living congregation is there, all the people in the movie, the good, the bad, the dead, the alive, everyone in the movie is in church receiving communion. Spiritually, they're all together. So here's the new game introduced by Easter. Everyone is in. No one is out. Now that's kind of hard to imagine, isn't it? Everyone is in. No one is out. The Prophet Muhammad and Muhammad Ali, John F. Kennedy and John Dillinger, Adolf Hitler and Adolphe Mengistu, Charles Manson and Charles Darwin, President Biden and President Trump, you and me. No one is out. This theology is known as universalism, that is, universal salvation, and universalism is half of our religious ancestry. For many people, though, the primary meaning of Easter is a religious holiday. In the Christian faith, Easter is the most sacred of all the holy days because it commemorates the cornerstone of the Christian faith. Had Jesus not risen from the dead, Christianity could never have flourished, since Jesus could not have been the Son of God. He could not have been proven to be the Christ. So there is this religious understanding of Easter as a commemoration of the resurrection. But the holy day's name derives from an ancient pagan festival and is the name of the Saxon goddess of offspring and spring, Easter. So how did a raucous pagan ritual evolve into a solemn Christian holiday? Well, 2nd century Christian missionaries spreading out among the Teutonic tribes north of Rome encountered numerous religious observances. Wherever possible and whenever possible, the missionaries tried not to interfere too strongly with entrenched and popular customs. Rather quietly, they attempted to transform pagan practices into ceremonies that harmonized with their Christian doctrines. The Christian missionaries astutely observed that the centuries-old festival Easter, commemorated at the start of spring, coincided with the time of year that their own observance of the resurrection. Thus, the resurrection was subsumed under the protective rubric of Easter. And it just so happened that the Easter fertility goddess had as her earthly symbol the prolific hare, the rabbit, hence the origin of our Easter bunny. The root word of Easter goes way back to a language spoken in Central Asia about 6,000 years ago, and it means to shine, as in the place where the sun rises, the east. Interesting, though, that the holiest day of the Christian year, Easter Sunday, bears the name of a pagan sex goddess and the pagan sun god Solis. Then there is the historical understanding of Easter as one more springtime holiday. Springtime holidays are common in many religions. Passover is celebrated in the spring, as is Muhammad's birthday. Nowruz is a celebration of the new year in Mideast culture. It goes way back to the beginning of the Baha'i faith and occurs on the vernal equinox. Then there's St. Patrick's Day, May Day, Cinco de Mayo, Mother's Day, and Groundhog Day. People want to celebrate the arrival of spring, and they will find some way to do it. There is also the commercial Easter. In this country, we color eggs, we eat deviled eggs and ham, and children hunt for Easter eggs. The White House gets involved with an annual egg roll, and that's not a Chinese appetizer. Women wear fancy hats, men put on neckties, and everything is rendered in pastel shades. Unfortunately, pet stores sell cute little bunnies and chicks, some even more unfortunately dyed pink and blue. Most, if not all, of these living toys will lose their appeal in less than a week. And then there is the astronomical understanding of Easter. In the northern hemisphere, the sun begins its climb above the equator on March 20th. That is the vernal equinox, when the tilt of the earth is inclined neither away nor towards the sun, the center of the sun being in the same plane as the equator. In the northern hemisphere from ancient times, people were happy about this because it meant the return of light and warmth, the return of a season during which crops could be grown and food could be eaten, animals would bear young, and days would be long. Many societies have cultural celebrations around the time of the vernal equinox, and they are more numerous the farther the society is away from the equator. In time, Easter will become, I believe, much like Christmas. Even devout Christians will not be able to escape colored eggs, pastel candy, ham dinners, Easter sales, and so forth. So, when overly devout Christians argue that Jesus rising from the dead is the reason that we celebrate Easter, just like they say that the birth of Jesus is the reason for Christmas, well, now you know what Paul Harvey would call the rest of the story. Christmas and Easter are modern veneers applied over ancient festivals centered on the movement of the sun. And now, drawing on ancient wisdom, I give you a new understanding of Easter. New to me anyway, and I thank Elizabeth Scribner for getting me thinking about Easter as a holiday to celebrate moving out of the darkness and into the light. And there are so many ways, religious and otherwise, to celebrate Easter as moving out of the darkness and into the light. When he was resurrected, Jesus moved from the darkness of his tomb into the light of day. He was enlightened. For believing Christians, his victory over death made it possible for everyone to come out of the darkness of sin and into the light of redemption. Flowers in the dark underground come into the light of spring at this time. Kate and I planted daffodil bulbs last fall, and now they are blooming in the sunlight. Unitarian Universalists and others celebrate moving out of the darkness of creedal religions into the light of religious freedom. It's both lighter and brighter. A child goes from the darkness of the womb into the light of day in an epic journey. Creativity begins in the void, the darkness, the unknown. From there it takes form, becomes something, becomes real, and comes to light. People come out of the darkness that they have lived in for 6 months and greet the light of the sun as it returns. This is ancient and will not change until we colonize the moon. This year it seems even more like a year when we lived in darkness of fear and the pandemic. It seems like we are coming into the light of health. The Dark Ages were so named for good reason. The term refers to about 500 years of intellectual darkness and regression that followed the collapse of the Roman Empire. Here in the 21st century, we can't see the Dark Ages. The times, the culture, and the events are obscure to us. For the people, it was a long time, 5 centuries, before they came out of the darkness and into the light of the Middle Ages. You may not be aware of a cultural paradigm that drives us to prefer lightness or light things over darkness or dark things. A cultural paradigm. It applies to nearly everything that has a color. The color of our clothing, the color of our cars, the color of our pets, the color of your living room. For instance, black dogs and black cats are overrepresented in the populations of animal shelters because of the negative associations that we have with the color black. The most popular colors used to paint houses are light and bright colors. Same for cars. And I regret that our association with light things tempts us to fear people with dark skins. It takes an effort to resist this fear. Sometimes we want to go back into the darkness. Many times I've held my hands up over my eyes and said, I don't want to see this. But there must be darkness, if only to balance light. Yin is forever chasing yang, which is forever chasing yin. And when we move out of the darkness and into the light, we are moving from ignorance to enlightenment. We are moving from a state of depravity to a state of grace. We are moving from a dark fear to the lightness of courage. We're moving from a darkness of spirit due to inability, aging, depression, or illness to a brighter state of mental health. We are moving from a dark addiction to a bright security. For Jews, Passover is a remembrance of their liberation from slavery in Egypt. And so we are moving from the darkness and dependency of slavery to a bright self-sufficiency where we are responsible adults. What is your darkness? What is your light? I think we all have darkness, and I think we all have light. What's important is to move in the right direction. My darkness is an inclination to treat people without the respect I think I deserve from them. I recently went backwards toward darkness when I spoke harshly and embarrassed myself and everyone around me. I could have made my point just as easily, speaking in a more civil tone. Recalling David Brown's idea that Easter is a game changer, I will take this Easter as an opportunity to change my game. But next month or 3 months from now, I may go backwards again, for I am a human being, a work in progress. I can once again change my game because every day human beings are given the opportunity to move out of the darkness and into the light. It doesn't have to be only on Easter. Every day we get a second chance.
Our benediction today comes from Noella Evans. She has some words for us to remember whenever we encounter a significant change in our life. The stage of my life has changed. Old doors are closed and new ones now stand open. Though I may have seen this space before, I now come to make it mine, to call it home. Hello and greetings to the heart and soul of this new setting. I honor this place that will shelter me, and I embrace the changes and opportunities that this move invites into my life. Our time together is nearly finished, but our work is not done. May your spirits be renewed and our resolve strengthened as we meet the challenges of the week to come. Please help me close this service now. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world. My name is Ann Johnson, and I'm happy that you could join us for this service. Please come back whenever you like. We will post another virtual church service next Sunday. Please contact the minister or the caring team if you or someone you know needs help during this time. Our services are recorded in advance, so current events may move faster than our ability to address them in a timely fashion. However, you can find up-to-date information on local events, social justice issues, inspiration, and content for all ages on our Facebook page. For our postlude, Charis reminds us that just as it does every year, spring has come again. As you make your way through the week, remember that you are good, you are loved. We all need a little work, and we're all in this together. Nothing left to say but yay, church!
Spring has come again. Spring has come.